Hey guys, it's Kesara, and today I'm going to be doing my worst books of 2021. So for my worst books of this year, I only have 3 that I'm going to be talking about. I know my other videos I'm doing top 5s for each of the categories, but for this one I really only had a top 3. Honestly, I really only had a top 2 books that I just really didn't like, but I'm adding in another one that I felt I wished was better, but like I didn't hate that one or anything. These are obviously not necessarily bad books. Well, I kind of think they are, but they might still be for you. They just didn't work for me. So let's go ahead and get into my top 3 least favorite books that I read in 2021. So we're gonna start this video off with The Guest List by Lucy Fowley. So this is a psychological thriller novel. This was also voted as the Goodreads Choice Award winner for 2020 for best thriller of that year, which a lot of times I like to pick up like different categories of books that I haven't read that make the Goodreads Choice Awards. And honestly, I feel like I might like need to stop doing that because especially with thrillers, they're very hit or miss for me. This thriller was just like average. I really consider putting it in like my most disappointing versus like the worst books, just because like I didn't feel that strongly about this book in general. Like it was just kind of meh. I was really hoping that I would love it because sometimes I really do like thrillers, especially like when they're atmospheric thrillers, which this one kind of felt like it was going in that direction, but it never quite got there. And then the end kind of just ruined it for me. I have certain pet peeves, and the ending kind of just went straight into that pet peeve of mine, which I can't tell you what it is because that would be spoilers everywhere. I hated the ending, so that's why it ended up being in my worst books of the year, because I was pretty bored throughout the novel until I got to the ending that I just really hated. And yeah, nothing. No, just don't like this book. Maybe I can read other books by this author and like them, but this one just did not work for me. So the next book that I want to talk about is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. So this is a romantic contemporary novel, and it just did not work for me on any sort of level. Like I didn't feel the romance at all, and I really did not like the main character. Part of the reason why I decided to pick up this series is because previously in the year I had picked up the Rajas trilogy, which is a romantic contemporary series following an Indian family. So this one was kind of recommended as people who liked reading that series might like reading this series. So I decided to pick this one up. And this is actually the second book in the series. I don't think it really affects anything because I mean, the type of series it is. I guess it sort of kind of spoils the first book reading the second book first. I don't think I'm gonna go back and read the first book just because of how much I did not like this one. The main character in this one is named Daisy Patel, and she is a software engineer who is supposed to be like really logical and like really intelligent and smart, but also like a total geek. And she basically gets into this fake relationship with this venture capitalist so that she can get her matchmaking relatives off her back, and his inheritance is contingent upon him getting married within a year, which also kind of stupid, but like it's super cliche, but sometimes I like those cliche sort of stories if they're like done well, and this one just did not work for me. First of all, did not like our main character. I didn't feel like she like was in character for the majority of this. She's supposed to be this software engineer, but like her actual job seems to be marketing. That's what her job seems to be, even though like she's supposed to be a software engineer. Like it starts off, she's like super into like she needs the close space and she doesn't like to talk to people and all of that, but then she like becomes very social and things like that, and she's like, it's just completely out of character from what she was originally characterized as, which I didn't mind. I was fine with that other character, but it just didn't connect for me. And I felt like the whole part of her being a geek was just kind of weird. But I think mainly because I consider myself a geek. The reason why she was a geek is because she likes the Avengers or like Marvel things. Maybe it's just my bias because I'm not that much of a fan of everything Marvel, but I think having Hulk underpants does not necessarily make you a geek. I'm sorry, because there's nothing else that really gives her that vibe other than like those aspects of it. So like, I don't know, her character just did not work for me. And because of that, the relationship didn't work for me. And then just the story didn't work for me. I really wanted to like it. I really did. But I think I'll stick to my other romantic contemporary series that I enjoy a lot more rather than trying to continue on with this one. So lastly, we have to talk about The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. So this is the first novel in the Bridgerton series, and I hated it. I hated pretty much everything about it. And I kind of feel bad by putting this on this list because it's not the type of book that I would normally pick up because it's a Regency era historical romance, which as a genre, I typically don't like. I have read quite a few of them before because I always want to like them, but they always fall short for me, like almost always. And this one kind of follows that same sort of feel where you have two characters and it's following those two characters and they fall in love, and that's basically the entire story. I decided to read this series because I watched the show, Bridgerton. Obviously, I was surprised by how much I liked Bridgerton because based off of the trailer, I wouldn't have. I just think, I don't know, Bridgerton was like a really great series to have during 2020. It was like the good fluff sort of thing that you wanted to watch. That's kind of the feeling that I was trying to go for with the books. And I did read the first 5 books, mind you. I kind of like the fourth one. The fourth one, if you watch the show, fourth one's about Penelope and it's actually okay. The rest of them kind of hated. Not fully. I enjoyed some of them minutely, but this first one I deplored so much, which is of course what the first season of Bridgerton based off of, which is Daphne and the Duke Hastings. For Daphne and the Duke, they basically have this fake relationship. It's the fake relationship trope in the Regency era. So in the show, you can kind of feel the chemistry between the actors. I didn't feel the chemistry between these characters at all, like in the books. Their conflict that they have, like Simon's whole backstory, I didn't buy it in the show. Definitely didn't buy it in the books. All of their conflicts just really didn't work for me, especially like the one big one. Minor spoiler. It's a spoiler. It's not minor. It's a spoiler, but I have to talk about it. There is a rape scene, 100% a rape, and it's in Bridgerton, the show too. I think the show does a little bit better handling of the scene, but it's still not great in the show. Like I think there could have been definitely more consequences for that scene. In the book, there are 0 consequences. Like absolutely nothing is bad after that scene. It annoyed me so much. I just I couldn't after that scene. I did finish it. I still finished and continued on the book because I kept hoping that it would get better, but no, it did not. I hated it, every second of it, and I ended up giving it 1 star. Don't recommend. Just watch the show. This is one of the few times I will tell you, just watch the show. 100% mean it. Did not like this at all. I don't think I'm gonna continue on the series unless for some reason I do end up liking the later characters. I may not, probably not. But yeah, really did not work for me on any level and kind of wish I didn't read it. Honestly, I kind of wish I didn't read it. So that's all I have for you guys. I post videos on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!